Welcome, Machinist Union members and our allies in the labor movement. This is your weekly 141 report, and I'm your host, Dave Lehive, a communications representative for District Lodge 141. This month, our nation and our union celebrates Black History Month. So this week's 141 report, we've invited on two brothers on today to talk about who they admire and look up to in Black history. Join us as we discuss this and other information as our 141 report starts now. We start our report by visiting Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as we speak with Brother Justin Wadlington. Hello, Brother Justin. Welcome to the program. I'm happy you were able to join me today.
How you doing? How you doing, David? I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you on, brother. So, brother, you have an amazing story to tell our viewers. But before we get started, could you first please give our viewers a little bit of background about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Justin Wadlington. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am a member of IAM Local 1776, and I was hired by U.S. Airways, which is now American Airlines, back in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing fleet service work. That's your primary function, right?
Service agent. That's what I do.
Yeah. So Justin, you have another career going on besides being an IAM member. I might say you're even getting getting quite a name for yourself. So you can tell me what your passion is in life?
Yes. So one of my life's passions is art. I like to say one of my life's passions is art because I'm the kind of person who likes to, try different things and challenge myself as often as possible. But I will say art is the driving force, one of the main driving forces of my life right now. And it kind of manifested and cultivated over the years, the more I got into it and challenged myself, like I said. But I've been painting for about 10 plus years. I taught myself how to paint. Slightly before that, I was drawing. And it's kind of funny because for a while, maybe 6 or 7 years, I stopped art completely. It wasn't a passion of mine at the time. I grew up doing art. Then after high school, it kind of dwindled off. I lost the drive, motivation, life kind of got in the way. And I found that passion once again back in maybe 2009. And I made a promise myself, this time is just stick with it, see where it goes, and so far so good.
Yeah, well, I've been following you and what you've been doing for quite some time. It's pretty amazing. So tell me, have you and your brothers and sisters been very supportive of you in your artistic work?
Oh, definitely, indeed. That's kind of one of the main reasons why I feel like I'm still pursuing this whole thing, is just because of the consistent support. A lot of the brothers and sisters show up to my art events. Shout out to Brian and Larry Reeves. Brian Reeves introduced me to some noteworthy people back in the day. Larry Reeves, our brother, president of the lodge. He definitely was one of my main motivations back in the day, just in many areas of life, just inspired me to work out a lot and just keep pushing it. So, and beyond Larry, Brian, a lot of the other brothers and sisters as well, just consistent support throughout all these years. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
So you've had the opportunity to paint for some pretty important people. Could you talk about some of the people you've painted for?
I mentioned one of the Elijah brothers, one of the Union brothers, Brian Reeves. He introduced me to Kevin Hart. Did some artwork for Kevin Hart several times. Through that, Kevin Hart actually posted me on his social media, his Instagram, maybe back in 2017. And man, after that, people like Shaquille O'Neal reached out to me for artwork. I have a cool relationship with him. Shaq's a busy guy, so if you talk to him once a year or whatever, that's still something pretty cool. So it's been a snowball effect from that. I've, in many different ways, I have this mindset to just keep going, like I said before. And with that mindset, I've also ran into Floyd Mayweather, got him to autograph one of my paintings that I did of him. Some noteworthy hip hop artists that I've ran into. My good friend Glenn Furman, he's a pretty notable art collector in the art world. Shaquille O'Neal introduced me to him, and he's been majorly supportive of everything that I've done. He owns a museum out in Manhattan, which he's invited me to be a part of some of his shows. Man, I've ran into like Brooke Shields, had conversations with Brooke Shields.
That's great, man.
Because I can keep going.
I know you've run into so many people. I follow you on your social media sites. It's great.
Pretty
so,
great.
brother, this week and this month is Black History Month, and that's why I really wanted to have you on here, because you've had such an amazing career. So, who do you look for for inspiration and admire from history?
It's strange because I use everybody. I know you want to be more specific, but
Yeah.
I guess I could say
I don't know if anybody in particular stands out in your mind. Maybe there's somebody in the art world that's from Black descent that might stand out, that maybe you think about when you're painting, or something that gave you ambition to do what you're doing. I mean, you're doing amazing work.
I'll tell you one guy that I always talk about. This guy. So when I was younger, when I used to go into the Philadelphia Museum of Art, or other art museums, you get to see a lot of the painters and the artists, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso, but you rarely see African-American representation in these places.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's not sometimes, that really means something. I'm not sure if everybody truly understands what it's like to see somebody from where you come from, or who you might think comes from where you come from, and see them doing great things.
Yeah.
And how that can inspire you to say like, oh, okay, I can do that too. And before, it used to be like, you would hear people say, oh, you can be anything. But sometimes if you don't see that, it just sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
So I lost my passion, like I said earlier, for about 6 or 7 years, until social media came around, and somebody introduced me to a guy through social media named Kelvin Okafor. And I was drawing. That's how I got back into art. And man, they showed me his work, and I'm like, is this guy like a real person? Like, I couldn't believe how amazing the artwork looked. It was hyper realistic. The details were just, beyond my comprehension at that time. And come to find out, he was a black artist, and he's from over in England.
Cool.
And Facebook, I reached out to him at the time. I said, yo, how did you get to where you got to? How are you able to do these amazing drawings? And he actually took the time to like reply and tell me about patience. And just, that's the main thing, is patience. I was trying to get everything done in 8 hours. Yeah. And he said sometimes it takes 8 hours just to draw an eyeball or a finger.
Yeah.
So with that pretty much changed my whole trajectory and motivated me to pretty much become part of who I am now. So I'm definitely honored to know that guy, and for that to have happened. And
That's a great bit of inspiration right there, brother. I'm sitting here. I'm in total amazement by that piece of artwork behind you. That's one of your more recent creations.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about what you did there?
So it's called Einstein, and it's spelled EYE as an I, Einstein. So I've always been a fan of physics, metaphysics, guys like Einstein, just some of the contributions they've given to the world. And I wanted to paint him in a unique way. So, I'm blind in my left eye. I've been blind since I was 5 due to an accident that I had when I was 5. So a lot of my artwork has like one eye symbolism in it.
Yeah.
It's like two different faces. I'm big on duality and things like that. So like down here, I have part of his formula, the main E equals MC squared, but there's like hidden things in here.
Yeah. That's what I love about looking at your artwork. I mean, I've seen some other pieces. It's just amazing, all the little hidden things that you throw in there. And my wife and I, when we look at it, we go, "Wow, check that out! Do you see this?" And it'd be some really cool things. So I love it. It's really great that you're able to do what you're doing. So let me ask you: do you believe that from being an IAM member, from the pay and benefits that you've received from the industry leading contract that we got you for you and your coworkers up there in Philadelphia, now that's helped you really move forward with your true love of artistic painting?
So in my case, I would use the pay and the benefits to, more so the pay to buy the art supplies, stay in the house and paint, and keep doing that until it gains traction. You know what I mean? So
so it's been helpful then, right?
Really been helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. It's good stuff. So if any of our viewers really want to see some of your artwork, where would they be able to go check it out? You got a website or something like that?
So I have a website. It's called blindeyevisions.com. You can purchase prints. I sign everything. I date it. So it's a little different than where it came from. But if you see my signature, you see the date, it came from me. I have a social media, Instagram, Blind Eye Visions, on my page, Justin Wadlington. I also have a documentary. These guys, Juice Group Films, they've been filming a documentary on my life story for about 2 years. It's through the pandemic, all of that. We captured some amazing things.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be on a pretty major platform. Hopefully, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. It'll come out during the spring. There's a trailer floating around somewhere.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out for that. Well, thanks, brother. I really love what you're doing. I thank you so much for taking the time to come on today and talk to our viewers about your artwork and your background. Thank you for being an IAM member and working with our brothers and sisters up there in Philadelphia. You stay safe, continue doing what you're doing, and appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. So now we move on to our interview to Charlotte, North Carolina, as we talk to brother Mike Knobel, who is the newly elected Grievance Committee Chair at American Airlines. Welcome, brother Mike. How you doing?
Brother Daily, hi. Hey, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege, brother.
It's great to have you on. Congratulations on your successful advancement up to the Grievance Chair position down there. You're representing a bunch of people down there. So why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and, what you've done in the airline industry and how you rose through the ranks of in the Machinists Union?
Oh, man, thank you. Great question for me. Well, first of all, hello, Union brothers and sisters. My name is Michael Knobel. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I'm the second son of 4 children that were raised by James and Barbara Knoble. I've been in the transportation industry for about 14 years. I started my career with US Airways and with the merger, the American. Started my union career in Chicago as a shop steward in the warehouse district, not very far from our district office in Chicago. After moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, I became a union worker in transportation through the IAM. I decided to be a voice for the people on the ramp, where I became a shop steward. I held that position, Dave, for about 6 years before I was asked to run as the grievance office member. I was sworn into the grievance office during my time, being the first Black African-American in the grievance office, serving the membership. I've also had the opportunity to receive education from our union college known as Whip and Singer, or W3. That's been an honor and a privilege as well, where I've been able to take on several tasks and also being a part of one of the first young workers class there at Whip and Singer. I've also had the opportunity and privilege of being on the Leadership 1 as well as Leadership 2, and had a little bit of a slowdown with this COVID thing that we've all been going through the past couple of years. But this year, I'm back on track, and I should be continuing my education with Leadership 3. I've also had the opportunity of being a part of Chris Davis's team here in Charlotte with EAP 1 at this particular time. So it's been a great ride so far.
That's a great resume, Mike. You've done a lot of work, man. And our members are definitely at an advantage having you down there and doing what you're doing for the membership. You got how many members you dealing with in fleet service down there? Just to refresh my memory.
Dave, and our team right now, it's Daryl Current, Alan Drennan, and Justin Conyers. I believe our last new hire class, we were somewhere around 1,800 employees. I believe by the middle of this year, 2022, we'll probably be very close to, if not over 2,000 members. That's
a good bunch of union people in the heart of the South. And you guys, it's tough, getting unions started down there, and people don't understand what unions are about. And you guys just spread the news. When you guys make the salary you're making from, having a really good contract that we have at American Airlines, that goes a long way in the community too. So you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
So, brother, who actually inspired you to get involved in the union?
Oh, well, as I mentioned, I come from union blood, being from Chicago. I believe it stemmed from there. But you kind of touched on it a little bit there a second ago. I believe just having the opportunity to live in the South, it's an amazing area, Charlotte, North Carolina, and to be a part of transportation and having a contract through the IAM, it's been really incredible. But for me, just doing my job on the ramp, I caught the eye of an individual that was a shop steward at the time, and I was kind of voluntold that I presented myself well, and that he would be putting my name on the nominations for shop steward. So that individual, he's no longer with us. He's truly missed on ramp. Charlotte, his name was O.D. Smith. So he was my first mentor, I believe, in this union business of ours through the IAM. And it's, as you can tell, it's had a huge and lasting impact on my life.
That's great, Mike. So who do you work with AGC wise down there in Charlotte, just so our members know that?
I'm a lucky guy, man. I have the opportunity of working with Michael Fairbanks and Mark Basket. If you don't know those names, they're AGCs that's been around for quite some time. They started through the ranks the same way I did. It's great to be able to have those guys in the office, and we can, bounce ideas, and they allow us to go back and forth with them. They love debating, as you can imagine. So amazing guys. It's been great working with their tutelage, under their tutelage.
They're good guys. They're really good guys.
Yeah.
So Mike, being that this is Black History Month, and this is a special episode for the 141 report, I'm sure you can reflect back and think about icons in history that have helped advance your career. So who do you look up to for inspiration and admire to help you be such a great brother in the labor movement?
There's quite a few. Some, they touched me directly. I believe Nelson Mandela fought for equality and rights of people. He ended up, even though there was a level of persecution for some time, he ended up being the president of a part of that country on that continent. So there's huge influence for me, but I think directly names that you might know. Lewis Gilmore, which was one of the first guys that kind of pushed me towards the union meetings and recognizing the business aspect of our local. Sonny Thornton, he's a retiree. He was a Philly guy, and he's not only a mentor to me, he's also a very close and personal friend. I'm sure he's enjoying retirement, but he played a huge part in my growth and my direction towards not only just being a really good shop steward for the members, but just knowing what the office entails and what it looks like and how it moves. So he comes from a very strong union area in Philadelphia. Also an individual that shared that area with him, Gil Simmons. He's in transportation now at the international lodge, man, at the international level. So to be able to have those type of guys in my corner that I can call at any given time, Dave, it's truly amazing. It makes being in the grievance office, in my opinion, that much easier. And also, Dave, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my lovely wife, Terry. She's a huge supporter. She's actually the person who pointed me in the direction of my employment with U.S. Airways. So she's a big part of why I'm in this position that I am. So I just want to say thank you and I love you, honey.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned some names there. Sonny Thornton and I have a long history together. I've known him back in the Philly days. We worked the gates together. Great guy, great unionist, and his wife is now the president of your local lodge.
Madam President, yeah.
And he's got himself quite a lady there with him.
Yes, he does.
And got a lot of respect for Sonny and his wife. You mentioned Gil, great guy. Lou Gilmore, all those guys, some really good people that have been very instrumental in the labor movement. So some good choices there.
Yeah.
So Brother Mike, would you say that labor history and Black history have common goals for the working class?
I'd have to totally agree with that. As we mentioned earlier in our conversation, I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to have unionism in the South. As we know, the South is a right to work state. It's an actual fact, a proven fact that union workers on average make about 15 to 20% more than non-union workers. We know what our attorneys at the international level have done for us in regards to dealing with COVID and making sure that the individuals or the working class did not get left behind through this COVID crisis. So, and this is all unionism. This is all a part of people that support and protect our jobs and our opportunity and rights to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Mike, how do you encourage more young Black sisters and brothers to get involved in the union movement down there in Charlotte?
And this is something I truly live by. It's not something my dad used to say: be the change you want to see. It's easy, in my opinion, to sit in the break room and point the fingers at what someone else should be doing. It's a thankless job, but I believe once a member decides that he wants to be that change that needs to be done, and he recognizes that, and he plays a part in that, he realizes, or she realizes, that there's so much work that needs to be done within our union to represent the members properly. And I also like to say, be a student of history. I know you and I, you put great content out on social media. You and I, we go back and forth about some great things and sharing those things with the media, with our members. I think it's important that we become students of history. We've all heard that saying, if you don't study your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So,
oh yeah, that is. Yeah. I say that all the time. I say that, and stuff is going on today. People need to look back at the clock and see what happened in the past, because we're headed down some roads that may be very bad for this country. So
true, Brother Lehigh.
We need to pay attention. Yep.
So true. So, and the one other thing I say, listen, if that road isn't paved, then cut in your own road. If you feel like as a member, you're entitled to all the rights and benefits that we have inside of this brother and sisterhood of ours, and if you feel like that road needs to be paved, be the person to take on that challenge to cut that road in, man. So those are just three of the things that I would love to see the membership recognize moving forward.
Yeah, Mike, some great commentary on it. I want to thank you for giving us an inside look at what you do and the work that you do for this membership, and your thoughts about the labor movement. It's been really great having you on today's show, and I appreciate it, you coming in.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It's an honor and a privilege. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brother Dave.
Good stuff, brother. Well, this wraps up this week's 141 report. I want to thank our guests for coming on today. I want to wish everyone a very healthy and safe weekend. Bye for now.